Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Valagar Aloevain. Alright, so in this video here, we're actually going to be starting another chain. This is the House P Carnival chain, or House Fiarla. So in order to get here, it is just off to the northwest is the gate from the market to House Fiarlan. In House Fiarlan, as soon as we get in, just a little bit ahead of us, we have this guy Rogue, or Rouge, that we can talk to. And they give us the start of this chain. Now this first part can actually be really difficult without a party. So I'm gonna give it a go and see how it goes. With a party, there is a little trick that you can do, which I will point out. That way, if you are doing it with a party, you can make it a little bit easier on yourself. What I am gonna do is bring out a hireling. As I am now level 7, I'll pull out a level 7 one.
You'll get a distinct impression of being watched. You hear a giant's voice.
Get up, Neil.
So the first part of this quest,
Probably try to steal
all it is simply just following this little road right here. They do have some enemies to deal with. Now I want to point out that this quest is absolutely littered with nature-based collectibles like mosses and mushrooms. I honestly don't even know where they all are, but there are several right at the beginning here, and I will definitely point out a few of them. So there's one there, there's these mushrooms here, and a mushroom just up ahead here. Alright. So the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to stop at these tents and talk to these giants. Now there is an optional here, which is not to touch the pack. We can actually select it and loot it, and it would give us a collectible. However, if we do this, it doesn't actually give us an optional quest at the end, and it gives us an extra chest of loot, which can contain named items. The easy way here is just to simply talk to them. He doesn't want to actually say anything, but basically the main thing is do not loot their giant's sack, and basically don't steal their stuff and they won't be angry at you. Alright, so from there, this is where it's going to get a little bit trickier. As you see, the path does kind of end, so you just want to keep heading in this direction here. As you can see, a lot of wolves, lions, and other four-legged animals do litter this area, and they can, especially solo, be a little bit difficult to deal with. especially if you are a ranged character like myself. Alright. Alright. Now, as we get to the edge here,
A thunderous voice rumbles
we
next
hear
to
from behind us
Careful! That water is shallow.
brawn pits. So what we're wanting to do, rather than hopping down here, we actually want to come up here and talk to him. So you can just select his options here. And then it's simply just follow him. At this point, there isn't really any enemies to deal with right away. However, just down this ramp here, we do have some more wolves. And once we're done, we're going to make it all the way to the camp. And we just want to talk to him again. Now you can actually select to go through and actually talk to him and learn his speech. However, like they said, skip 2 hours of explanation. And what it does is it cuts you to the next part.
giant, but to earn his trust, you'll have to become his apprentice.
So it does
training
fade to
begins.
black. And now is our next part here. So once that's done, we talk to him again. And he's going to ask you to do some initiations. So first thing here, he wants us to go and get some
Seek
water.
the altar near the waterfall to appease the spirits before you take their water. Don't be jumping off that cliff. That water's shallow. It might sprain your ankles.
So he does mention that, one, he doesn't want us to jump off the cliff. However, you know, doesn't really hurt anything to jump off the cliff. But he does mention that before actually going and selecting the waterfall, he does want us to go to the altar to get the permission from the water spirits. Which you definitely got to do. If you do not get the permission first, what happens is it just spawns in a couple of angry elementals that you will have to battle. Whereas if you select the altar first, they give you permission here. So you have our blessing to actually go and use the water there at the waterfall. So once you have their permission, just select the waterfall and you get a bucket of blessed water. Or just rather some blessed water. Now this quest is confusing, is a good word to put. And there are a lot of enemies as well. So now that we have the blessed water, our next objective is to actually just head back up to where Brawn Pits is. And talk to him again. Once we've talked to him,
Brawn Pits gives you another task.
he does say west and north to find rocks. So now we gotta find and kill earth elementals. Now, there are several of these ones. So the first path that to take, as I recommend just walking up right here onto this hill. It has one right here. And then if we head to the west, it will have the rest of everything that we need right there. In fact, this path alone has enough earth elementals to complete this task. So other than the water, this is the part where your party can actually start splitting up. As other than picking up the water, it doesn't matter who talks to him. So for the first part, if you're the person who picked up the water, you got to be the one to return the water to him. However, if this part here, it doesn't matter, as it doesn't actually give you a physical item in your inventory. It's just killing them there. So we can actually go and defeat the 5 more, so I will show you where they are. Or at least try to, if I do remember. Alright. So for the first little bit, we're gonna head all the way up. So we have some firewood up there. That is actually our next part. But if we just go right past the firewood and drop just right down here. One, we have a shrine up on this hill. As well, we have some more elementals. Alright, and then if we continue this path here, so directly east, again it will drop us down. And just be aware, as they do spawn in wolves down here as well. And here they come. Alright, and keep heading east. Or rather, as east as we can go. You'll see one right up there. Also, I'm apologizing for the little bit of sniffling that I'm doing. I do got a bit of a plugged nose. It's kind of allergy season here for me. And I have a wonderful little rabbit at home. But she sheds a lot. Alright, and then once we get that last one there, we have another, our last one is just down here. So again, the trick is, once you've gone down the main path that has the majority of them, you hop up to where that firewood is, and just step off the cliff right there. From that point, just continue heading east, as far east as you can go. And once you get there, we're gonna loop back around and collect the last 2. Alright, so we need to go back up this way. And again, it does get a little maze-like down here. Trying to find where you're going all the time. Alright, so once you've done that here, like I said, it doesn't matter who, so you can actually leave somebody sitting here. once you've collected all the rocks, you'll say that
Brawn Pit
he
says
wants you to collect some
If Brothers
firewood.
Grimm don't have any firewood, check up in the hills northwest of here.
So you can actually talk. So the Brothers Grimm, those would be those two giants that we had ignored early on, where they were saying don't touch our stuff. If we choose to talk to them at this point, they will give us a buff, as well as a pointer for where we can actually find this firewood. Which this firewood does require a little bit of jumping. So we're going to want to head back through where those rocks are. This is why a lot of times what happens is they'll send one person or the rest of the party to continue, and they'll send one person back to actually stay and stand and talk to Brawn Pits. Alright. So our first bit of firewood is here. Now every one that we pick up is actually going to spawn in a fire elemental. So just be cautious and be aware. Alright. So from there, we're going to want to head up this direction. Not this direction, sorry. Here it is. Sorry, it gets very confusing up here. So we have a second one here, but there is a bit of a jump. So just watch yourself. Alright, now from this part, as you see, all we need is 2 more firewood, so we can actually go this direction here, to the right, which actually has 2 firewood here. Actually 3 firewood, you got 1 down there. So here we go with 1. And here we are with 2. Alright, so what we are going to do is I'm just going to show you where the other 4 are as well. So if we head back down here, we can grab that extra firewood. So there's our first extra firewood. So grab it on top up here quick. Alright. And then, so from where we came in, right here, if we actually head off to, I believe it is, it's across here. Alright, so it's not this one here, but as you can see, there are a bunch of these. You know what, I think it was further down that other path. Alright. I do apologize about this. So there's gonna be 1 more firewood that we can pick up. And at the moment I am not actually seeing it. I do see a chest though that we missed. Ah, there it is. See, it was also down this one here. So basically all of them are down off to the right hand side. Alright. These ones are just up here. Now, if you were wondering why I'm saying the last one, as it does state to defeat 2 more, the reason being is you actually fight 2 later on. Those 2 always spawn in, so if you're at this point and you just need 2 left, don't worry, you actually have them all. Alright, so from this point here, there actually is a trick to make things a little bit easier on yourself. What you do is you have one person head down just here to Brawn Pits, but you don't actually talk to him yet. Then you send another member who has a large amount of jump to continue this path and get up to the end. Up top, it'll be on that rock right ahead of us. So to do so, you'd have to go up and around and all the way up there. You do that before you talk to him, because once you talk to him, it actually starts spawning in enemies on that path up there. So it makes it a little bit easier if there's nobody to fight on the way. Unfortunately, we're just doing this solo, so we do gotta hop down here and talk to him first. Once you do, here it spawns in a couple of fire elementals. As you can see, our hireling did not do well. Brawn Pits didn't get too hurt, which is good, because obviously you don't want Brawn Pits to die, because that actually is a requirement. If he dies, you do fail the quest here. Alright, so we're actually going to have our hireling stay right here for now and defend Brawn Pits, and we're going to head back and make our way back up to now it is the Sky Spirit. So again, to get up here, we just got to go down our path once again. Another thing to point out, he does have a campfire there, and he does mention he has a stew. If you consume this stew, it will actually give you plus a fairly large, I believe it's plus 30 to your jump, allowing you to actually make it through these jumps without too much of an issue. But again, because we do have so many past lives here, like our character's already sitting at 20 jump, plus I have the scroll of jump here, which should give us an extra 10. So we're all the way up to 30 jump now. Alright. So from this point, this is where you'd want to start heading down the path here. As I said, if you go first, it won't spawn in any of these enemies. And these enemies do respawn, so if you take too much time killing them, you will have to just turn around and deal with them right again. Which is why the best method is, if you're going with a group, have one member go through these jumps before actually talking to Brawn Pits. As one, it is faster, you don't have to spend the time killing, and two, you don't have to, potentially die along the way. So from here, it's down to this rock, onto this one, then it is up and over. Now, here's where it gets a little bit tricky. And this one has actually caused me a lot of anger and a lot of annoyance in the past. As what happens here, once we get on there, of course, there is a new spawn of enemies. There's also the spirit, which is a wind elemental. Now, if you guys have tangled with these guys before, you know that they have a knockback effect, which, as we're on a small platform, if they knock you back, you end up falling off, having to climb all the way back up. Maybe that's only on... Apparently that's only on Epic. Alright. So once you talk to him there, click the altar, talk to him. He warns you of incoming danger, and to head back to Brawn Pits. Now, if you have somebody here at Brawn Pits, this fight will start immediately. So just watch yourself. And then once we're done saving him, again, just talk to him. And now we got to escort him back to the very beginning of the quest where we first entered. However, first, again, after making sure he is okay, I definitely recommend buffing him, because at this point he is a targetable enemy. And just giving him mostly fire resistance, electric resistance, and acid resistance, as the enemies that we're fighting along the way there kind of like casting those types of spells. Now, in his camp here, he does have a chest that you can loot. Now, this one here, this one's always going to be here. However, if we chose to kill basically Thumb and Nail Grim, then we don't actually get a chest from their camp. He kind of basically is like, huh, well, they're gone. Maybe they left. Alright. Not knowing that if you try to loot their stuff, they become angry with you and potentially try to kill you. You, of course, having to defend yourself, have to kill his family, his cousins, I believe. Or I'm not exactly sure how the relation is, but you do have to, of course, then kill them. And you miss out on that extra chest there. Another thing to point out, which is a key rule that I kind of just ignored. Enemies spawn as Brawn Pits passes through the area, not when you or a party member passes through. So if you just rush ahead, way ahead of him, whereas the rest of your party is still back there fighting and you're hoping to get a jump start on the killing, unfortunately that will not work, as they don't even spawn in until they get closer, or until he gets closer. Alright. So here we are back at their camp. And he starts talking to them. So does their uncle. Alright, so we can talk to him again. And he mentions this chest here. So if you kill them earlier, this is the chest that you miss out on, which can have some named items. Last tiny little bit left. Now I want to point out the end fight actually this quest is fairly difficult. Or rather can be difficult. Especially depending on how long it takes you to kill the enemies. As come on, brown pits. Alright, as we approach this area,
a whispery voice
all
echoes
these
in the valley.
little guys start attacking us. So we have all four that we actually would have met earlier at his campsite. So after picking up each one, they do bring a different one out here. And like I said, this is where it gets difficult. As they're attacking him, like you saw, he got a couple of neg levels that might have been to his hit points. Either way, like, they kind of focused on him. So it is very important to, you know, just fully dish out as much DPS as you can, as fast as you can. Once that's all done, again, all that's left is just walk them up to Caravan. And as you can see, a very nice amount of experience. But it does take a little bit of time. We were in here for a total of 30 minutes. And then finally an end chest. And that is it. That is the first part of this House Viarlan quest chain. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys later. Have a good one all.